here with at CPAC Mexico with the president of Mis amigos migrantes, pues aquí estoy.
Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis.
Of a child right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. It is this, the crisis of children. Thank you so much for joining in. Excuse me, I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. It's nice to say hello to every single one of you after today was and yesterday Hurricane Hillary struck our city of Tijuana in our state of Baja California, but everything has gone under control. They had a couple of earthquakes in the part of California and also small earthquakes in the part of California. But some floodings in the state of Baja California and also in the municipal cities like Rosarito, but everything has been getting under control. Now, let's go with our coverage of what we did in Europe. This is Monday, 21st of August. This is our first episode of what we did in Europe, and it is going to be today talking about the migrants from South Sudan that they were located in a part of France. First and foremost, how is the audio? Is the audio okay? Is the audio doing good? If you guys can respond on the message box and you guys can share this video and like this video so we can start with our coverage. We are going to be doing multiple episodes of our coverage in Europe and ultimately not only talking about France, talking about Netherlands, talking about Poland, talking about ultimately from Ukraine, our coverage in Ukraine, or what happened in the borders with Ukraine, as we have been getting, video, and we got like shocking video for everybody to see. We're going to have multiple guests in our episodes of every coverage. This is episode number 1 of our coverage in Europe. Now, what happened in France? We arrived first in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. Then after that, I met with the great Chuck Holton, former ranger and writer and also journalist. He has written more than 12 books. And ultimately also done multiple coverage. He works for, he's a correspondent for Newsmax. Not only that, he is a correspondent and also has been working for years for CBN News. Great and magnificent network. We arrive into the Netherlands and with him and Mark Tomlet, a young kid that has a great future in journalism and also and communications. From there, we moved. We did a couple of interviews. That is going to be our next episode about the farmers in the Netherlands. But ultimately, we went to Calais, France. Calais, France. It is a beautiful place. Beautiful place. It is kind of relates to what is happening in the border between Mexico and the United States. Calais, France. France. It is almost exactly the same. And sadly, Calais, France has been getting a lot of, as it is, good migrants and a lot of bad migrants. As it is, a mass migration. France has been getting ultimately mass migration in through their borders. And one of the borders that has been getting this is Calais. Calais, it is 26 to 28 miles away from the channel that connects through the Atlantic into the UK. As you guys know, I did a report about how the UK and the president of the UK or the prime minister of the UK, however you want to call it, created this barge, this vessel that is kind of like a detention center that is converted into a hotel that is going to be in the sea, and it can hold up to 300 to 500 to 700 migrants. And they need to stay there in this vessel and do a screening test before they enter the UK. This has created some kind of animosity with human rights and all these organizations. But ultimately, we needed to know how this border with Calais how this border is flooded and how it is not only flooded, but there's a lot of migrants from South Sudan. You need to understand what these migrants from South Sudan they're going through. They're being attacked by these radical organizations of the some of the radical organizations from the some parts of the Muslim community. Not only that, but they're also the majority of the people that they live in South Sudan, they're Christian. So it's just not only talking about migration, but also the persecution towards Christian people that nowadays it is not only being documented in parts like the United States of America where Christians and Catholics are being persecuted politically and also in churches in every place. In Nicaragua, they're burning churches with the dictator Ortega. In Venezuela, they're eradicating also they're eradicating Christians, and it's a massive attack against Christians. And in France, you guys have seen how the multiple attacks against the churches on the Church of Notre Dame completely has, almost 75 to 80% was destroyed. And we're going to talk about that in this sections. Now, the migrants are South Sudan. They have been they migrate to Sudan, and they're persecuted in Sudan. And after that, they jump into Libya and they migrate to several other places. And then ultimately, their number one purpose is to go into the UK. So this is one of the things that is completely, really interesting as we got there. And the thing about it is that I was expecting the certain attitude in terms to migration in the continent of Latin America, that in the continent of Latin America, you guys know that we have experienced. We have walked more than 9 caravans. We had crossed the Darien Gap twice. We have been into Guatemala, borders of Honduras, El Salvador, south of Mexico, Colombia, borders with Venezuela, Panama. It's a different migration. The attitude of the migrants, a lot of them, they're not economic migrants. They're just looking to get out of the war. They're just looking to get out of the war of what they're going through. So they're migrants from Afghanistan, migrants from Iraq, they're migrants from Somalia. They have political, problems in their country. And a lot of them, they're not looking for a better life, for a better job. It's not like in the continent of America that a lot of them, the majority are economical migrants. Venezuela, economical migrants. The majority, they're not running from persecution. You have a vast majority, a percentage of people that they're running away from persecution. But ultimately, the number one, it is the economical migrants. In Europe, a lot of them, they have political problems. And it is war. Basically, it is war. Here is our analysis. And here is our video. This is why I wanted you guys to see the video before. Yesterday, it was premiered, a video about my investigation in the parts of France. But we did not show, ultimately, the whole interview, the whole thing. As I was, walking with the great Chuck Colton and this young kid that is going to be a great American mind. Marky Tomlin. I will suggest later on to follow his Instagram. He has an enormous potential, man. My God, he's so intelligent. Great kid. But let's put this video on the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And I will pause every time that I know that I need to talk about and relate in terms to interviews, in terms to how they let us in, these migrants from South Sudan and France, how they let us into their home, an abandoned house that the migrants, took over, as also in the parts of outside of Calais in France, there is a part that is called the jungle. This part that is called the jungle, it was a migrant camp also, where migrants from Eritrea, they're living there, and there were bunkers, historically, the bunkers from the Nazis in the World War II, the migrants were living inside these historical bunkers until the government of France interfered and said, "Hey, you cannot stay in this particular place. It is too nice. It is too it is not that it's nice. It is historical. You know, it's a bunker from World War II. You cannot be staying here." But it was graffitied. So we're going to talk about how the city of Paris also it is all graffiti and how the migrants are living in the streets. Also, we're going to talk about undocumented and no-go zones that we were there, and how the majority of these places that there are no-go zones, they are now, you know, people. The majority of people that they live in these no-go zones are people that they are Muslim. There has been evidence that a lot of the churches that have been attacked in the parts of France, Christian churches and also Catholic churches, have been because of this fight between these two religions. That is the religion of Christ and the religion of Islam. It is a reality, it's not a lie. Here we start with our interview with this South African migrant that is from South Sudan. And I want you to hear, and some of in the video that I put yesterday, I cut a lot of the things that I was interviewing. But it's a 30-minute video, so I will play it as we are going to start to explain. And don't miss the next episodes because we are going to have multiple guests to explain ultimately our tour into Europe. Episode 1, Migrants from South Sudan and France. Right here walking in France with a migrant from South Sudan. What is your name and since when you've been here?
My name is Zakaria and I have been here for a while, like 1 year and a half.
This migrant by the name of Zakaria, he's so young. I think that he was in 19 or 20. He has gone through a lot. War. The people of South Sudan, they're going through a war. I'm not pandering to poor migrants, poor this, poor that, but I want you to understand that I am relating and I'm documenting and I'm spreading what I saw. I'm not going to pander some particular side and say, "Oh no, we don't want this." I'm documenting and I'm explaining that is what we were there to do. This young man, Zakaria, he was around 19 or 20 years of age. He started working when he was 12 years of age, when he was young. And now he has migrated. And before all of this, before you guys understand how this came about, how we started talking to these migrants from South Sudan, I want you to understand how was our approach for us to try to talk to them. They were stationed. You see this park right here on the back. Let me put the other camera. This park right here, there is a park right here. And we were staying, the great Chuck Colton, Marky, and myself, we were staying at a hotel around this corner. We went out to see if we can see some of the migrants in this park. And this park, it is flooded with migrants from South Sudan, from the Middle East. And we approached this park, and the great Chuck Colton approached a group of them, and they were really nice to us. They said, "Hey, hello, how you doing? Where you guys are from?" Chuck said, "I'm from the United States." Oscar, hey, he's from Mexico. They started talking to us, and then Chuck said, "Hey, you guys hungry?" He said, "Yes, we a little bit hungry. Do you guys want to go somewhere to eat?" And we went to a pizza place. And we sat down with them and it's the whole thing about documenting migration. You have to talk. It is not only just to video. You have to understand the fact of why they are migrating. The fact that you need to understand their culture, their behavior, their manners, to understand what type of migration is this. So we went over there. Great Chuck Colton bought pizzas there were around 6 or 8 of them. We were talking to them. We were relating to them. And then after that, we said, "Hey, you know what? We're journalists. We're here to document migration. We're here to document all other things. But now that we are talking to you guys, do you guys mind if we have a conversation and you explain to us how it is that you are migrating so young, all of you, into France and how you got here?" And after that, they said they were really, really nice to us. They said, "Yes, we will absolutely like for you to tell the truth about how we got here." So we started walking. And this was part of that investigation. Not only they took us into the park where they were all the time camping out and sitting down, but also they took us to their house. That it is an abandoned house, huge abandoned house that is completely a disaster from inside. They are all men, more than 150 men. That what they explain is that in this house, they go in and they go out. It is like a filter of people. Meanwhile, they get to the other side of the UK. Meanwhile, they get to the other side and they cross to a channel through the UK that is 26 miles from Calais, France. This is the story about this man. Listen up.
So
And how it has been here? How was your journey from South Sudan? You went to Sudan, and from there, what happened?
it was too hot, and maybe we need time. Maybe we can speak about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you left all your family over there.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. I left just me alone.
It was, and you're telling me because there's a war over there.
Yeah, sure. There's war. Yeah.
How bad is it? Can you explain it to me a little bit?
It was too hot.
Too hard.
Yeah. And we have no choice. We just leave.
You started working since really young. You were
Yeah,
telling me since
yeah.
you were 9 years old
Yeah, sure.
to provide for your family.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now the whole goal is to go to the UK
Yeah.
to work so you can
Yeah.
provide for your family.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're gonna work to save money to go to the UK.
At this time, I have no work, so I just look for opportunity. Maybe someone can take me there, or I just stay here in life. So it's not easy here.
It's not easy in France.
Yeah, it's not easy, especially here in the jungle. Yeah,
It's been really hard for you since you got here,
yeah,
but you have the faith that everything is going to get better.
yeah. I hope so.
You hope so,
Yeah,
and it will get better.
I hope. Yeah, thank you.
There you have it. So really good young man. I'm not going to lie. To actually talk to this young man, 19 years of age, and to hear how they're migrating and they're escaping from a war in South Sudan that a lot of us we don't even know what the hell is going on in South Sudan. We don't even know that they are being persecuted in South Sudan. Christians, South Sudan, it is a Christian country, and they are being attacked and they are being persecuted. That is the reality. And poverty, ultimately, and war. It leads to economic migrant. But ultimately, the number one reason why they're fleeing, it is because there's a political conflict in South Sudan. It is a reality. You are going to hear other migrants how they pray that in the middle of all this, hotel where I was with these people, I started praying for them. Why? Because nobody deserves to go through this. These are human beings. Also, you guys know that I have always said everybody has the right to migrate, but there's laws, and we have to obey all the laws for us to migrate. We need to understand that ultimately, the Constitution and the law, it is the first thing. It is the first thing that we need to obey. I will answer all of your questions that you guys are asking in the live chat. First and foremost, let me explain. I was there. So this is this young man. Now let's go to another interview from another migrant from South Sudan. A migrant from South Sudan, right here in France. We are here with a migrant from Gambia. I think
Yes,
you told me
yes,
you're from
yes.
Gambia. How many countries have you been traveling to get to France?
Yes, I travel from Senegal, Mali, Bamako, and Burkina Faso, and then I get to Libya. From Niger, I get
Now, this is another migrant from Gambia. He is not a Christian. He is Muslim. And the sad thing, the crazy thing about it is that, in France, there is, you can say that is a radical war going on between the churches. There are Christian churches that are being burned down, attacked, or vandalized. And they are consistently saying that they have pure and vast evidence that there are a radical Islamic groups that they are attacking the Christian churches. Now, it is really, I ask really particular questions to these migrants. How do you feel of your color of your skin? How do you feel? Do you feel that you're being not well observed because you're Islam, because you're Muslim? These kind of questions are need to be asked so we can understand the perspective of how the migrant feels on every country as they are moving from one time to another. So when they get to the final destination, you will understand if the migrant it is completely legitimately saying the truth about every single situation that he's going through, or legitimately he's using that as a justification for him to get a free ticket to migrate from one side to another. It is extremely important that we ask these kind of questions. Listen to this migrant from Gambia that he is from a Islamic country and how he explains his journey and ultimately how he feels when he's being that he explains that he was persecuted by the police of France, that he doesn't like people looking at him because of its color of its skin, that all these things that there are facts for a migrant to get into another place and into another country.
Libya, and now I am here in. When I get to Libya, went to Italy. So Italy, Germany, but before, Germany, and then I get here in France. Now I am here in Calais. Want to go to UK?
You're really smart. You speak 5 languages.
Yes, I do.
You told me that you were living in Sweden and you had a career over there.
Yeah, I had a career over there, but Sweden is not a good country because there's a lot of shooting guns and all that crimes.
So it's really insecure in Sweden.
Yes, sometimes.
A thing that is going on in Sweden is that a lot of these radical groups, Islamic radical groups, they are now taken over. And because Sweden has this open border policies, now is being run by violence and ultimately also by insecurity. As it is France. France has been radically, doing these massive riots and lootings in the no-go zones that we are going to explain that. We went to one of them, and you can actually feel the tension on these no-go zones. You can actually feel it. Immediately, you can feel it. But ultimately, the number one thing that I want you to understand is that every country that is being overrun with an open border policy, it is the same problem, copy-paste problem that in Latin America, it is going on. You have the good legitimate migrant and you got the bad legitimate migrant, that ultimately the bad legitimate migrant creates animosity, creates violence, and creates this self-entitlement to say, hey, you know what? We need this, we need this, we need this. Meanwhile, the other legitimate migrant that is running away from persecution, that is actually a legitimate case of asylum, it gets affected by the attitudes and the irresponsibilities of others. This is the case of a migrant that is explaining how he got out of a place that he has been living in Sweden. That in Sweden, they have this open borders, and ultimately they started migrating out of Sweden because of the violence of these open border policies. Amazing.
It's insecure because Sweden became the capital model of whole Europe. We can say right now because there's a lot of shooting there.
So you're Muslim.
Yeah.
So tell me, how have you been treated in the country of France because of your religion?
No respect. Nobody respects you. You go look for job, they don't give you no job even though you don't have paper.
Does it have to do with your religion, your color of your skin?
We know that you don't have to have a job. Like you can't get a job illegally in France if you don't get papers. We know that, but sometimes it doesn't matter. Cutting grass and stuff, man, everybody can do something, But after all, don't give us job. They don't give us nothing. They're supposed to respect us at least, something like that. Yeah.
So it's really difficult for you to get a job.
Yes, it's very difficult for us to get a job, and it's very difficult for them to accept us here in France. That's why we are moving on. We are going our way.
What was the main problem in Gambia that made you leave?
Oh well, it's a political history, something like that.
Poverty.
Not just poverty, but a political history, politics and stuff. My family against the government and stuff. Yeah.
So
And,
your whole purpose is to go to UK,
yeah, and to meet some of my families there.
in the UK.
Yeah, in the UK. But France is very, very difficult, to be here in Calais for so very long, and then you can't maybe have a chance to go to UK.
And you guys sleep over here on the right here in the hub.
Yeah, we sleep here. Maybe we find some stealth sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
The police bother you?
Yes, very much. Because sometimes the people spray our faces, and they beat us for no reason. Some people
They
you
beat
see,
us.
yeah,
They beat you up.
yeah, with the sticks and stuff.
Has happened before?
Yes, yes,
And
it
how do you
happened.
feel about that?
Very bad. I feel I'm like treated unhuman way.
In a
like
human way.
yeah, in human way, yeah, exactly. And this is like a human being.
So what is your message to all the people that they are migrating right now from your country?
Well, if you can do good in your country, back in your country, if you don't have war, don't run away. Stay there and do.
Wow. Why here? Last question. What is your message for the people that they are migrating from your country? And he's saying, if you're doing good and if you have water, he says, or if you have the necessities, the essentials, stay in your country. Why is he saying that? This global compact on migration is a complete disaster from the United Nations. It is a complete disaster. It's inhumane. The global compact on migration from the United Nations, it is completely the opposite of what they're saying, that they are pandering to. There's going to be an orderly, safe, documented, and peaceful migration. It is completely the opposite. So now migrants, they understand. And now migrants from Venezuela, also in the United States, they're understanding that it's not what it is. It's not what they tell them that it is. And this, it is the number one message from a lot of the migrants that there are right now in the United States, that they are saying, hey, it is not how it looks like. If you get to the United States, you have to work. You have to do a lot of things to make the American dream happen. It is not about give me, give me, give me, give me. It's about being in the United States and working for the American dream. This migrant from Gambia is practically saying to these people in Gambia that if you have the essentials, do not get out of your country. Stay in your country and try to fight in your country, because what he's going through, it is completely the opposite of what they told him.
Well, because you can do better. But out here, if you are try to run away from something and then you go and find a bigger stuff in front of you, you don't have to run away. Maybe it's better you fight it there, or maybe you move to closest country into where you're coming from, because it's very, very difficult. But we know everybody have a right to travel in the world. Everybody should be free.
Right to migrate.
Yeah, right to migrate. But these countries that you are passing through, they are not. Some of them are not that good countries. They are very, very bad countries.
So you just want to get to a good country so you can work and provide for your family.
Yeah, we study. Yeah, we live life free, and we study, and we provide for our family. And then we look for our own future with our own children and stuff. That's what we want. We don't want to be here in a places where they respect black people, or they respect because of we are people of colors and
Do you
stuff.
feel that they disrespect you because of your color?
Yes, I do. I do feel like that.
Do you feel hurt?
I feel hurt because of there's some restaurants, when I go inside there, they drive me out. I can't be there because they respect me. I'm just like them.
Because of the color.
Because of the colors of my skin, exactly.
We're here with a migrant from South Sudan. Tell us a little bit about your story. How you got here to France?
Yeah, maybe just I get there for friend. It's very, very, very dangerous. Before I don't know myself before I'm coming there, because I'm coming to North Sudan, and after North Sudan I'm coming to Libya, and after that I lose so many of my friends in way. I lose it so many more of them, because the first time when I get to Libya, I'm a Christian, because I can tell it the Libya guy I'm a Christian, because I see some of my friends, he tell us I'm a Christian, he kill it, I see it for my eye. I'm saying I'm a Muslim guy, because I'm afraid the Muslim people are afraid like him. Because
so they were persecuting the Christians.
This is a really interesting thing. Now, this migrant from South Sudan says that he cannot say that he's from South Sudan because in Libya, they will get persecuted and they will get attacked. He says that I'm a Christian migrant. I'm a Christian, but I cannot say that when I'm getting out, because if I say that, I will get murdered. This is the persecution towards Christians. It doesn't even matter the color of the skin. If you're a Christian, you're a Christian. And these people are getting persecuted in their own land, and they're getting attacked by Sudan. This is the reason why they're fleeing. Ultimately, there is not a, there's a process to migrate. And also there's a process to do your, the migration. But this is the explanation of the migrants from South Africa. The majority are from conflict zones. This is part of the conflict. It is a well explained situation by this migrant from South Sudan that is saying, for me to move from one country to another, I have to lie that I am a Christian. Because if I say that I'm a Christian in Libya, I will be attacked. I will be persecuted. I will be murdered. Crazy.
It's in South Sudan?
Yeah, no, for South Sudan, no.
Sudan.
Yeah, no, for
In
Libya. For
Libya.
Libya, yeah. For Libya,
And
because
you had to leave Libya, and then from there you came over here?
and after that I leave Libya. I'm coming to Tunisia, and after Tunisia, I'll be there. No work, no job, like this education now. No anything to eating, and very very dangerous for Tunisia. It's very dangerous. Yeah, and after that I'm coming to water. I get to Italia, and after Italia, I'm getting there for France. And now I have 6 months here for France. No document, no anything. I want only my dream to go into England. We don't have anything to do because now for France, we don't love you to go into England, and we don't need you to can help you to give you something, place to sit or something like that, because we are so many more people here. Every time people coming for Africa, we are million people for different country.
A lot of people are
Yeah.
going from Africa to the United States. You never thought about going to the United States?
Because I can't get there for only my dream to going to United States, because I don't have anything to do. I don't have any plan to do into going to United States, because if I get the plan to going to United States today, now right now I can go because I don't have anything. When I find someone can ask me to going there, because I won't going there
So you think that for you to go to another country, you need to plan
to plan.
a migration?
Yeah, I need to plan to how to going.
Hold on a minute. What just happened? He just said that for me to go to the United States, I have to plan. Isn't that a big of a difference? Hold on a minute. Hold on. Isn't that a huge difference of what the migration in Latin America it is about? You know what is happening right now in New York? What is happening in the borders of Texas, in the borders of Arizona, that Arizona has the biggest conflict right now with the organized crime and the cartel. They're fighting in Sonora. Cartels are fighting for that territory. The majority of the migrants, they are living on the streets of New York. They did not plan a migration. They went with what NGOs, what these progressive mercenary activists that they're making a huge money out of migrants, that they're weaponizing the migration for their political welfare and their political gain. They do not care if a migrant has a plan or not to go to the United States, because they only want to flood the borders, open the borders, create chaos, create more funds, more governmental funds, more grants. And now you have a migrant right now from South Sudan that is saying, for me to go to the United States, I have to plan. Isn't that weird? Because I've been studying the migration in Latin America for almost 6 years now. And every migrant from Latin America, the majority of them, they go with the flow. They go and they go and they go and they say, we're moving with the faith on God. We're moving with the faith on God. And you tell them, but it's not going to be like that. When you get there, there's going to be a process. You're going to go through this. I don't care. We're going with as long as I get there. And do you have a plan? No, I don't. I have a family member. And let's see what happens. And let's see how this and let's see how that. The migration in the continent of America, the majority of them are going for economical migrants. And because the United States, it's opened. That is what it is. That is what it is. But people of the United States are pissed off because, oh, you have this mass migration. Don't be mad at the migrants. Be mad at your own government. Your government opened their mouths to open the borders. Your government. Different. How I saw this migrant and saying, I need to plan. I need to plan. I need to save some money. I need to plan. That was really weird for me. It has never been said. First time that I hear it from a migrant that is saying, I need to plan. When I go to the UK, I need to work and I need to plan. That was weird.
To USA, because when I going there, this is only my dream to going to USA. My dream is only to play a basketball. That's why I love basketball, because I want to go in US. I don't have anything to do it. This is only my dream to go in USA. First time I want to going to UK, and after that to UK, when I get to plan to going to USA, I will go. This is only my dream, because I'm coming to very, very long time. And when I going to UK, when the people of UK, when to take me back to Rwanda, and like that, take me back to Rwanda. That's why when I see myself, I lose myself, because when we taking me back to Rwanda.
This is a problem that hasn't been said. It is exactly what is happening in the continent of America, that a lot of the migrants were being deported and returned back, as Joe Biden is doing right now. And it is lying about being the panderer and being the helper of the world. He's returning thousands of migrants into Guatemala, silently underneath the boat and underneath the table. With the migrants of Africa, they were returning them to Rwanda. And a lot of them, they were committing suicide. They were running away. They were fleeing from this authorities that they were telling them, hey, you know what? You need to go back, and we're going to give you the opportunity, but go to Rwanda. And they're like, hell no, we're not even going there. I prefer to die. And there have been cases that a lot of the migrants have committed suicide instead of going to Rwanda. I'm documenting. I'm just saying what is happening. Don't start with your comments right here saying, oh, we don't care. We don't want them Oscar Blues. Stop with the sob stories. I'm not here to tell a sob story. I'm here to explain to you what is going on. This is the crazy part, that because of the Rwanda, it was a failed operation. Then later on, they started making this vessel that it looks like a first 5-star hotel inside. It has a basketball court. It has this, it has that. This tells you, look at all the mess. Look at this disaster of inhumanity, of migration. And it is all caused by this elite oligarchs, these people that they have control of the middle class countries, of the middle class societies, these global compacts of immigration, these United Nations, these NGOs that they are preaching to the choir, saying we are all for humanity. Damn it, you are not. You're just sponging out of human misery, out of human slavery, and you're just taking advantage and weaponizing the migration for your own gain. This migrant has his mind settled. I will go to Ukraine. I don't know how is he going to go. That is not even my problem. But he's saying I will go to the UK. After I go to the UK, I will plan to go to the United States. But let me tell you, in the middle of all of this, if he's planning to go to the United States, if an NGO gets in there and gets into their minds and saying, you can go to this place, you can do this, you can do that, now it will get interrupted. So it's not that they don't know the process, is that along the way, these NGOs, they are completely destroying law and order, and they're completely destroying the process of migration. This is why all these NGOs need to get audit, need to get not eradicated, but need to get audit for the problems that they're causing to all, not only to the migration, but humanity itself.
That's why, because I lose my time and I lose so many things, because I lose so many of my friends. When we taking me back to Rwanda, that's why I can do anything. That's why I will kill myself, because I see myself I lose it. I lose my time with nothing. Yeah.
So the whole purpose right now, you're stranded. You live on the streets. That's what I'm looking at. It's
Yeah.
really hard for you to make it. You can't get a job over here. I was talking to your other partner. The skin color, it's a problem, I believe so, over here. And also that some of you guys don't know how to speak French,
Yes.
and that is another problem. So the
All
whole
us
purpose
was-
is to move. Is that a reality that they don't treat you well because of your color of your skin and your and the language?
Yeah, that's why there is some of them. Maybe if you go into supermarket, if you wanna anything, something to it, because when you not speak French, you speak English. There is no someone can speak as you with English. We see you like you are not really human because I'm speak English. Why? Because I don't know why. What is wrong with that? I don't know. When people will see me in the way you look at me like I'm not nothing, because I'm a human being. I'm a human being. I'm a human being. I'm kind going to anywhere where I need. Because the people of France will see me like I'm not nothing. Because me, I want to do my fiction.
And the safest country for you to get your future is the UK, and then from there,
There to US. Yeah, and then to UK and then to US.
that's a long way to go.
Yeah, that's why the long way to go, because I'm coming the very long way, because me, I don't care, because I see many long way to coming there. How to can do that, because I'm coming very long way, because I lose so many friends for this way, and I can get there because I have 6 years to Libya. I lose so many of my friends there. Before I'm coming to Libya, I'm still very young boy. I all my time I lose it for Libya. Sometimes police of Libya shan to arrest me because with nothing. Someone then take me to jail with anything. With I not do anything with taking me to jail. If you take me to jail, some of them take me to jail, and we are so many of Africa people. That is so many of Kutubar, of Nigeria, of Kenya, of something like that, with us to Libya. And when we arrest us, and we buy the body to another people and to kill your friend. You can see your friend now. Libya can kill it and take it the old body and take it outside and yeah, can take it anything. That's why me I lose someone or friend. I see him for my eye to take anything for body and take it outside for Libya to buy it for another thing. This is the police of Libya do that.
It's really bad.
It's real bad. I see him so many of my friends. And for Libya, for anyone is soldier, anyone for Libya, and can arrest you. When you see the people of Libya, when you see you are black people and you are something like that, because we don't love is kid, because Libya is Africa. Yeah, because we don't love, because we are a kid, because we are black. We call ourselves is Arab people. Arab people in Africa, we are Africa. Why you call yourself you are Arab? Because we are Africa. Africa is the one. Why you do us better kill together and take a body with all of some people you killed? Why? Why we do that? We are one.
So it's clearly these open border policies, they create a disaster. They create a complete disaster, and I'm seeing exactly this in terms to some migrants, like legitimate cases that they are coming for a better health, but a better life. This young man saying, I will believe, and I'm strongly believe that a lot of the migrants, if you tell them the process of how to migrate correctly to one country to another, they will do it, like this one. But ultimately, you have these radical NGOs, these radical progressive NGOs that they are aligned, a lot of them in Mexico with the United States, with the cartel. And also now you have NGOs in Europe that where it started in the Global Compact on Migration, where it started, it was in Europe. One of the countries that it got flooded, it was France, Spain, Italy, and still claim France has seen the highest numbers right now on migration from that particular place, 26 miles into the channel, into the UK. But what I'm seeing right here, it's exactly the same problem. We're seeing that the problem are these international organizations that instead of fixing the problem, they are completely against the fast way to fix the problem. This is the house that they let us in. Crazy house. I will let the video play for you guys to see how this house, it is just a hub. It was an abandoned house that nobody was living there, and we got the opportunity to go to this house. For us to go to this house, we walked through the park. Chuck Holton, Mark Tomlin, and myself, we walked to this park where the migrants were located at. And then they told us, hey, we can take you to this house. We were like, come on, you're talking about 100 and 150 people against 3 of us. Like, hey, we're going in our car. We arrived there and we will see how it feels. When we got there and we saw that everything was normal and everything was peaceful, and they wanted us to let know and to document the truth of the conditions that they're living, because where's the United Nations? Where's OIM? Where are you? These are conditions that you're putting people with your open border policies. This is why we wanted to go in there to document what the United Nations, they're doing, weaponizing the migration. This is the house, and just look at the conditions. And I will pause when we were talking with the migrant from Sudan that just arrived there for 2 days. We prayed there. We prayed strongly for these people to find a better way for their lives, because this is not good. It's exactly what people are going through right now at the Darien Gap. They're exposed themselves to human misery, to basically to die. We have documented rape. We have documented all kinds of horrible things that happens over there. It's a copy paste in Europe.
How many people are staying here? All from out. Okay, kind of like put it on him. Strapped it. Yeah. You take a picture of me. You take my picture?
So this is where you live. How many people around? How many people live here?
A lot of people, every day people come and go, people come and go. It's like this, and other people stay here. It's too hard to stay in a place like this. Mosquito, and life was street guys, drunk and fighting at night, no sleep.
Really difficult.
Yeah, really difficult.
Here, 40 people is living here. Some of them is living down. Some of them is very dangerous. Some of them is living down or something like that.
So it's abandoned house.
Yeah, this is my friend for Egyptian.
Right.
He's living with us together because we are all in Africa. We can join us together.
Where is he from?
He's from Egyptian.
Egypt.
You're from Egypt.
Oh, I went to Cairo.
From Cairo, yeah. This is my house. We are 50% is living here. I'm going to do 15 people. Then some people is up.
Oh my gosh, this house is huge.
Yeah. See? It's big. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Who owns the house? Somalia. Call the landlord.
Over there?
Nobody here.
So where's the exit? Over there?
Yeah.
Exit. Yeah, yes.
You see some of them living like this? There. For tank.
And where's the water? Where do you get water?
Water maybe we bring it here.
Where? And where is the toilet?
That's all like this. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Amazing. Incredible. What does this say? Bulan?
It's very bad situation. We don't know how we can do. We no job, no good food. Sometimes
We arrived to this last room, and in this last room there was a migrant that it was from Sudan, and he just went through this horrible journey, and the only thing that I can do is to pray. A lot of the people say like, "Hey, Oscar, it's the pandering. They need to go back." My narrative is God. God has no left. God has no right. God is not a Democrat. God is not a Republican. God is not a political figure. God, it is the owner of you, and it is the owner of me. My narrative is God. God pray for the poor. God pray for the sick. God pray for every single one of us. God died for us. These evildoers, the elites, the oligarchs, that they take decisions on our lives, on open border policies, that they create chaos and they create a disaster. That is who we need to pray for, those people, for that evil to go. On this particular location, I was with the great Chuck Holton, us alone, inside of this place, and I decided to do a prayer because this conditions where these migrants from South Sudan that were living, they were horrible. And a lot of people are saying, well, a lot of our homeless are living in these conditions and are living in most horrible conditions. Good. It is your obligation, if you're a U.S. citizen, to go and help your homeless. Preaching and commentating on a live feed is not going to help anything. Going to your political standards and going to your political hearings is going to help. Voting for the right people to fix that problem, it is going to help. This is what happened after.
not eating food. We're living like that with like an animal bed house.
Now, is this better or worse than Libya? Or Libya.
Libya because it's,
Libya is worse.
yeah,
Libya is,
Libya is worse.
tell us a little bit about
Why is
it's
Libya worse?
I've been saying that Libya there is no human right and there is no good security and it's a different country in Africa. It's not the part of Africa,
Yeah, so nobody cares about you there.
yeah, nobody can care about you.
Yeah.
No UN to give you food.
Yeah.
no UN.
No, UN sometimes come, sometimes not come.
Okay, okay.
Maybe sometimes
Is
come.
there human rights in Libya?
No. Human
there's
rights.
no.
Where's the United Nations? Look at the questions. In Libya, do the United Nations go and help with food and help with water? I just asked, is there human rights in Libya? No, there's not. Where's the United Nations? Why are you getting all this? Oh, my God. Exactly the same question that I ask with people of Venezuela, run by a dictator, Nicolas Maduro. Is there human rights in Venezuela? All of them, they say no. Why the United Nations is not there, damn it? Why? Why? It is the exploitation, the weaponization of the migration to kick people out of their own culture, out of their own country, and to purposely put them through torture, walking through migrants irregularly, illicitly, some of them, and funding out of this. It has a purpose. It is exactly weaponizing the migration, using it for a purpose.
Human
The,
rights.
the community of the world, they are not care about Libya. If they are care about Libya, there are many people inside the prison. If there is a human right in the world, they are go to see the problem of the people inside Libya, inside the prison of Libya. They are detaining a lot of people.
You're from South Sudan?
Yes,
There human rights in South Sudan?
Yes, I've been saying there is a human right. Why South Sudan they have a war and they never kill foreigners in South Sudan. If you go to Libya, you will be surprised. The people they are talking. They are saying that Libya they are war, and also my country they have war. I'm myself. I'm South Sudanese. I don't kill any foreigners on the road and detain them to pay money to get them out. If you get people also in the middle of the sea, you go to arrest them and you will say, I need money and so. But why you make the business for human being? Human being have a right.
Say that again.
I be say human being have a right to you make it have a freedom. Yes.
And
But
why they
I'm
make it
surprised. I'm surprised about Libya. Me, my topic all about Libya. I have
Oh.
2 years in Libya and 6 months.
Oh, terrible.
You know.
How long have you been here?
Me, I have a 2 day now.
Just 2 days.
2 days. Yes.
Just got here.
Yes. All in Europe, I have 17 days.
How old are you?
Me, I have a 29 years.
29.
Yes.
Young man.
I'm bigger.
You're really young.
Yeah, older than some people. Yeah. Are there any women here?
Now, the problem about this is that the situation that how every city, every border city is being run, it is exactly the same. Exactly the same. Migrant camps, migrants living in hubs, activists going to these hubs and telling them you need to stay there, you need to do this, you need to do that. Exactly the same as it happened in Tijuana, migrants living in migrant camps, creating migrant camps, activists, progressive activists going over there, NGOs profiting out of this situation so they can continuously fund out of federal grants. This is not a lie. It is completely the same. Look at these migrants how they're living. I'm not saying poor migrants. I'm just saying, where are these international organizations that their number one purpose is to help? Where are they?
Of Africa,
Right.
in the east side.
Right.
I don't know what is going on in the northern Africa. I come to see in Libya, and I'm surprised about this. My
Wow.
topic will go back to the Libya. Libya is not good country in the world. So for the community of the world must open the eye to Libya.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
Very good to meet you.
yeah. That is why.
God bless you.
Yeah, God bless
Yeah.
you too.
God bless you.
So that's why.
I pray that God will guide you
Yeah,
and will keep you safe
God is
and
great.
take care of your wives.
God is great.
That's why.
And
Hey,
God is there.
Chuck,
Amen.
We came here for a reason.
let me do a quick prayer right here for you guys.
Okay.
Okay? Lord, protect these people that they live under these circumstances. Give them an opportunity to get a better life and to live a better life. Protect them and guide them to a better place and to a better opportunity in their journeys. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Let me pray also.
Yes.
Let me do a small prayer. Thank you, Lord. Lord must protect everybody who come to meet us for here. In the power of Jesus. Me, I'm praying now. Those people that are suffering in Kali, open the way for us and let them go to get the journey in the power of Jesus. Let me pray. Lord, listen to 4 people. They are asleep in the tree. Lord, listen about the prayer, in the way of prayer. I'm praying for the people that are suffering in the power of Jesus. Thank you, Lord. You in Jesus' name I'm praying.
Amen. Amen. Thank you.
So this is the inside of one of the. We moved into the other side. That is one of the migrant camps that is considered that his name is the jungle. This migrant camp that it was flooded back in 2014 and 2015. The name is the jungle. They took over some bunkers from the Nazis. Historically, these bunkers where we visited these bunkers. The great Chuck Holton took me to these bunkers, and These bunkers were used in the World War II. And as you see right here, you see the same ideology from these progressives. No human is illegal. Utopia. They want to create their own utopia. This is written in French, but you can easily understand that it is the same copy paste. These communists, that they only for the political game and not to create a better humanity or a better migration. They're only this is why I've continuously said these NGOs, they need to be audited immediately of who are these mercenary activists that they're infiltrated in these places. They have caused so much damage. So many people have died because of their ideas of open borders. So we went to these places, as you see right here. This was inside. This is another migrant camp outside of the place that is called the Jungle. Here, the great Chuck Colton went in there and had a little bit of an issue with a migrant from Eritrea that wanted to take his phone. This is the way that they're living outside still, exactly the same, like in the borders with Mexico and the United States. Migrant camps. You see exactly the same international organizations not doing anything, just bringing food, bringing clothing. This is the bunker. This is the bunkers which they are living in, which they were taken over back in 2016, 2017. And the government of the government from France, they removed them from these bunkers. This is the place where we flew the drone, and they were basically the migrants go to a particular place where they have an international organization, and they have these NGOs that they go over there and they participate and they feed them and they give them clothes and they give them food and all. It's exactly the same what is going on with the United States and Mexico. This is the way Paris looks. Paris has an increase of almost 30 to 40% on insecurity and violence after they started colliding and being a collaborator of the global compact of migration. Not only that, but because of these open border policies and accepting a mass migration without no filter, that is the number one most important thing, you started seeing a lot of graffiti, a lot of riots, lootings, and also places that it looks really bad. This is kind of like video from tunnels that they are full with graffiti. This is Paris. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, Paris is beautiful." Yeah, there's downtown Paris where we were at a electrical scooter. We went downtown Paris. We were riding it, and we were experiencing the whole atmosphere to get ourselves an idea of how it looked. This is how it looks to get to the Eiffel Tower and also downtown Paris. This is how it's full with graffiti. And it's exactly what has happened to other cities that you have open border policies. But these NGOs, they never put attention to the disaster that is causing to society and the shock of cultures. That is the other thing. That is a complete, a thing that you need to put attention to detail, the shock of cultures. It is inevitably one of the things that it has caused so much. I don't want to say division, but also it has caused so much of a disaster. Look at how it's all graffiti. All of it is graffiti. All the city of Paris, it is all graffiti. Buildings, business buildings, streets. All of it. And in the middle of downtown Paris, you will find migrants living in the streets. Isn't that, come on, hold on. Isn't that exactly the same of what is happening in New York? Isn't it exactly the same of what is happening in New York? Look at those camps. Look at that graffiti. Isn't that exactly what is happening in New York right now, that migrants are living outside in the streets? You will see exactly the same of what it is going on in New York It is exactly what is going on in Paris. Migrants living in downtown, living underneath, bridges, trying to find places where to live so they can be a central a distribution for people to these NGOs to go over there and try to help. It's exactly the same. This is how it looked in some areas. Public transportation. Now we went to the Notre Dame Cathedral. Now, why I wanted to document the Notre Dame Cathedral, because the Notre Dame Cathedral was basically, there's two theories, and this has to do with mass migration also and open borders. One theory is that the Notre Dame Cathedral was burned down because of an electrical failure, that was categorized by the government. But the other theory, what is the most realistic theory, it was caused by an attack by a particular religion, and also radical progressive activists, and also mass migration, irregular migration that has been happening, that people, they come with bad intentions, and they were part of this disaster. This is how it looks. Now, why am I saying this? Because a lot of the churches in Paris and in France are getting brutally attacked. It is a persecution against Christians. It is a persecution against Catholics. They're getting brutally attacked, brutally vandalized. It is a reality. This is the reconstruction of Notre Dame. It all comes down together. It is all exactly the same. What it tells you that open border policies, open borders does not work. It is not a profitable thing for every city and for every border city. This is a no-go zone. Have you seen, and let me return a little bit back the video right here to this no-go zone. Look how all the doors are shut. Look how all the windows are shut. This neighborhood, look at this. Our windows are open, but the majority of the windows, they're shut, and they have wood, triplay. I don't know how to say it in English, but they have this play of wood on every window. This was a no-go zone that we went through it. And the I will say the reality thing about it is that a lot of the no-go zones, the majority of the people that live over there, they're people from plywood. Thank you so much. They are from Islam, the majority of it. And I'm not blaming, not talking about bad of the people that practice this religion. No. I'm just saying the people who live there are these from this particular religion. This is a no-go zone that we went over there, and it was really sketchy. Really sketchy. No-go zones have to do a lot with mass migration, open borders, irregular migration, people that they're living irregularly in the parts of Paris, in the parts of Calais, in the parts of France. Neighborhood that we stopped there and we did a hit. And this is what I said when I was in this no-go zone. Pay attention. Blue right here live in Paris, France, on one of the no-go zones. Really quick video. This is a really sketchy place. There's a lot of irregular activity. You will see really sketchy people, a lot of burning spots, a lot of places where they have, you see evidence of burning tires, burning cars, burning buildings. I will show you a little bit of clips as we are running by. We are top of one of the parks, and we're trying to do as quick as possible because people just continuously, see us, and they want to approach us and see what we're doing over here. There's a lot of lookouts. There's a lot of, you can actually feel the vibe, the negative vibe in these kind of places. Now, this after we went to the no-go zones, this is part of the no-go zones. A lot of migrants living on the streets, living underneath the bridges, as you see right here. This is a bridge that is connecting to a no-go zone. And you will see a lot of migrants living underneath the streets right here. You will see migrants right here living on the streets, migrants right here living underneath a bridge. Isn't it almost the same of what is happening in New York right now? It is exactly the same of what is happening in New York right now. Thank you so much, Angel. Thank you so much for the coffee. Buy me a coffee is on the bottom link. If you guys like to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund, buy me a coffee is on the bottom link. We are going to do episodes of our tour in Europe. So thank you so much for your contribution. It helps us to continue to broadcast and give you guys the reality and truth of what we have been documenting in the continent of Europe. So this is how it looked underneath on downtown. This right here. Look, more migrants living on the streets, living underneath bridges, living underneath, canals. Exactly the same of what is happening in the borders between Mexico and the United States. And now, exactly the same of what is happening in living on the streets. Look at this. Exactly the same of what is happening in New York. Where's the United Nations? Where are all these international organizations that created this global compact of migration? Where are they? And a lot of the people that like the UNCHR, they say, you know what? It is not our decision. The people that they sit down on the table, these elites, these oligarchs, that they use possibly the United Nations as a face for their agenda and for their belief of their world. Because these elites and these oligarchs are the ones that they're putting in the world, in your mind, in my mind, and everybody else's mind. This is the way the world has to be. It is not your perception, it is our perception. And the way that we see it is the way that it's going to be. And this is their perception. Complete disaster, poverty, people living on the streets. Almost the same. We have documented in Mexico so many migrant camps that people are living in horrible conditions. Look at this. Migrants living like this. Where's the humanity? Where are you? OIM, where are you? Where are these progressives? This is their open borders. People end up living on the street. It is exactly the same as over here. Now you have the same situation in New York, where you invited the mass migration, but you don't know what to do with it anymore. Now you got a mayor in New York that doesn't know what to do anymore. We need more funds. We need this. We need that. And then you have these organizations, these blue vest organizations, exactly the same in the United States. What are they doing there? Helping to just feed them, give them water, give them this. No, get them out of the street. They don't want to live in the street. What are you doing? That's not the whole purpose. But the purpose for these NGOs is to continue with the business, continue. And I'm not going to say all NGOs are bad, but a lot of them, they're not good. How's everybody doing? I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Boys News. This has been our first episode of our documentation of the migrants of South Africa in Calais, France, and in France, in Paris. It is all connected. The way that is the cities are being overrun, and because of mass migration and open borders, you have an irregular migration, and ultimately not only that, but you have insecurity, violence increasing. It has happened before. Also in Tapachula, it happened on the 10th Avenue, where migrants from Haiti took over a whole street, and they had their businesses in front of the Mexican businesses. It is, I believe in human rights. I believe that migration is a human right, whether you like it or not. It's my perception. Your perception, taken home, freedom of speech. It's something about freedom of speech and you commentating hateful stuff. But let me tell you something. Migration is a human right, but for those human rights, there are laws. And the problem about these people, these international organizations, these NGOs, is they do not want to obey the law. They want to make their own law. and they want you to adapt to their law as what is all this wokeism. Adapt to it. We don't want no border. Adapt to it. We don't want no law. Adapt to it. There's no immigration law. Adapt to it. You're creating hysteria. You're misinforming. You are, a fear monger. You are, a conspiracy theorist with child trafficking. There's the evidence. There's right there that it's happening. The cartel, it is having a war on the other side of the border. No, that's creating hysteria. Adapt to it. That is what they're doing. These oligarchs, these elitists, their world wants to be implemented in your mind, in your world. That is what law and constitution are so important to a country to sustain. Overall, you have people, and I documented on Normandy, France, where more than 9,000 souls, Americans, are buried. That they believed on freedom. They believed on the Constitution. They believed in law. They believed on fighting for freedom, not for only the United States, for the world. So if we have people that they have died for a law, for a constitution, for freedom, these international organizations, what are they about? Are they for freedom, or are they for their own world to be implemented in your mind? Take away your freedom, and this is the way we want to run the world. Unbelievable. Unbelievable and amazing what we saw on this particular on this on this documentations in Calais, France. I will read a chapter before I go of the great book from the great Chuck Colton. Buy it. Bulletproof. Buy it. Before I go, I will read a chapter. If you have this book, go to chapter 8, and it is a spirit of power. It says, before I go, I want to read this to you. And it has 3 topics: situation, mission, and execution. Let's say the situation. It says, as a newly inducted soldier, you will find it necessary to make a complete readjustment of your previous habits of life. You have become a huge part of an organization in which you will live intimate lately association with other soldiers conforming to the exacting requirements of the military team. The necessary disciplinary control of the military surroundings will present an entirely new order of life for you, all essential to our great purpose in this war. General George C. Marshall. Why I read that? Now, in these days, we need to understand where our youth it is going. Where our youth it is going if it has a purpose. We need to men to be men, and let men be men, and raise men by men. We need to understand that if we don't value the things that there are more important in our lives, that is God, we will have a lost generation. Why this has to do with mass migration? You have a lot of people suffering because they don't have good leaders. They don't have good fathers. They don't have good presidents. They don't have good governors. They don't have good mayors. Good leaders create good people. Good people, they lead the world. Bad leaders create bad people. Bad people, they create chaos. Really important that we create good leaders good men to lead our societies and to lead our communities and to lead our cities and to lead ultimately a next generation to come and a next generation to come and a next generation to come, to all generations to be good leaders and sons of God. That's what we need to do. When you have good leaders that implement the good system of good people in their countries, these people will fight for their country or they will fight for a better life. But you have bad leaders, you have bad presidents, you have corrupt governments that they are bad leaders and bad people. They will create more bad people. And you will have a country that is a chaotic country. That people will leave because of poverty. They will leave because of bad people. We need good leaders. We need good people. We need God's people. That's what we need. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Boys News. Quick shout out to the great Chuck Colton. Follow him at every social media. You can follow him at his social media network as YouTube as The Hot Zone with Chuck Colton, also in Twitter. Also, follow my brother Ben Berquam, Anthony Owedo, Real America's Boys News, all the networks. Thank you so much for this live broadcast of the first episode of our coverage in Europe. It has been a pleasure to be with you guys. Stay safe. And remember, follow me also on all my platforms. It's Oscar Blue Ramirez. You can follow me in all my platforms, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You got Oscar Blue Media Team, also another Instagram channel. You can follow me on all my platforms. And also become a supporter in Locals. Locals, become a supporter. Supporter in Locals so you can get the first information possible. Thank you, and thank you to all the people and members that buy me a coffee. God bless your dear hearts. You the guys that keep me afloat to continue with my continuous journalism around the world. Stay safe. And remember, God's plan is our mission. We're here with at CPAC Mexico with the president of Mis amigos migrantes, pues aquí estoy. Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis. Of a child right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. It is this, the crisis of children.